That being said, those of you who are, and we should say this about Vincent too, since those are the two new films we're seeing this week, those of you who are digitally inclined need to be so with much force with these two movies, because you know, Roger and I and a few other critics who've seen this film have done their part as much as we can do by writing reviews and having those out there. But you guys, it's word of mouth is word of mouth, and you get on your blogs, send in your reviews. I mean, ain't it cool? It takes reader reviews sometimes, so send them in, tweet them away, go crazy, because it actually does. It's starting to make more of a difference as time goes on. Those sort of groundswell, you know, campaigns. So if you like these movies that you're seeing here, the new films, you should talk about them as much as you can over the next few weeks. So I think we got time for a couple more questions. So
on the floor in the center, about 9 rows back.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this film with us. It was beautiful. I have 2 quick questions about the kids, what they're doing now, and if any of the 3 kids in the film that we saw that are yours and Lightning's, do they have your musical talents?
Well, actually, my daughter does sing. Lightning's daughter, Angelina, is from his first marriage. And the 2 children, Rachel and Dana, are his stepkids. But anyway, my son, Dana, is a closet singer. He loves to sing. He was in choir and things like that, but he always wanted to be in the background. I mean, he's very shy. You would know it in some of the parts of the movie, but he's very shy.
And Rachel's an amazing writer.
Rachel's an amazing writer. I mean, she has that, I mean, what she put together that last week of the funeral, I don't know what I would have done without my daughter that week. She was very stepped up, and she, you know, while I sat on the bed and smoked my cigarettes, she was very upfront, and you know, she's talented as far as a writer, and hopes that maybe she'll pursue that. And she does sing a little bit, but right now, they're 21 and 25 years old. My son is 21, and my daughter is 25. So you can see how they've grown since the film.
In your front here.
Okay, thank you for coming very much. I will like, because I mean, the film is beautiful, and your family is beautiful, you have beautiful kids, but also I would like to know how was the creative process of the songs? Who wrote them? Why you choose them? And because they are always, and they've been with you all the time. And I would like to know about that.
Well, that would be a question for you, Greg.
Well, there were 2 musical elements to the film. The first being the performance with Lightning and Thunder, who of course then, they shared Neil Diamond and Patsy Cline's music with audiences. So those performances were chosen based on the best performances we had of them. And Nick, our editor, he went through and chose the best moments of their singing performance. And as you can see, it's really a love story more than it is a musical. So that was the first aspect of it. The one song that was quite significant was, of course, Song Song Blue, which, if you listen to the lyrics, it really just seemed to make a lot of sense for the story. And that moment, actually, at the end of the film where Lightning sings, was actually the absolute first thing I ever shot of him, and he sang that for me down in the basement, like at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the gig time, is what I call it. And then the second aspect of the music was the score, and that was done by a very talented musician named Tony Decker, a singer-songwriter that has a band called the Great Lakes Swimmers. They're in Toronto. And being from the Midwest, growing up outside Detroit, any band that has the name Great Lakes Swimmers, I'm like, I love that. So he played Philly, where I live, and my wife and I went to see him in a very small venue, and I presented this idea, and he was on board just to do whatever he could to participate. And so he wrote a beautiful score with a very folky, acoustic, ambient kind of vibe. So those were the 2 musical aspects.
Balcony center. I would like to thank you for sharing your family with us. The simplicity of your everyday life in your family and the good times and the bad times. Your musical career was wonderful, but I just looked at it as just like my career, with all of those family difficulties that come along and the tragedies. And thank you for sharing those private moments with us, because it makes such a difference. I also was thinking that there's family life research that might be interested in your film. And on campus, we have the Kelly Christopher Center for Family Studies, and there's a powerful lesson for families in your work. And I thank your children for being your children and saying the things they said, because my children said those things to me too. And I'm so glad I came today. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for mentioning it. We'll keep that in mind. Write that down, Greg, okay? Write that down.
And that reminds me that we have today, you know, part of Ebertfest was sponsored by the Champaign County Anti-Stigma Alliance, whose mission is to help overcome discrimination in physical or mental disabilities. And they're having an event right here in the Virginia Theater for those of you who can stay. It starts at 4:30 today, and they're showing the movie The Soloist. And so this sort of segues nicely.
Is there time for one more question? Yes. Okay, on the floor here. To your left.
Oh, I was so touched by the gift Eddie Vedder gave to you of the guitar. I was curious, how did he even know that Mike was sick?
You saw a member of the Frogs that recalled one of the bassists for the Frogs, which is a popular Milwaukee band, cult band. And Eddie, actually they performed that same show that you performed with Eddie.
Yeah, the Frogs did.
And so
yes.
apparently I was curious the same thing. And apparently he's very tight with one of the brothers that make up the Frogs. And so he had given him a heads up that he was sick. Not well, because it was in the paper, I guess.
Yeah, so it was amazing when that, the guitar came to the door and, we opened it up, and that was just amazing, and read the letter, and then it was, of course, read again at the funeral and displayed there, and we have it proudly on display at the house, and nobody touches that guitar, nobody.
Everyone, thank you so much. Claire and Greg, thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing this movie with us.
Thank you.
Honestly.